Hello viewers, Super GT here, and this is the noobiest race in the world because, as you can see, we're driving, or we will be driving, the Alpha 33 Stradale. And yes, everyone's going to be driving the ultimate noob wagon of Forza. So without further ado, that's enough talking. Let's get into the racing. And it's here at Rio, which is always an interesting circuit. Off the line we go, with the typically weird rolling starts and the typically non-weird crashes as we head through turn 1. Into turn 2, someone's already grinding on the wall, gone down into 2 miles an hour. More contacts going around the outside. We're picking our way through already quite nicely to find out who is the biggest noob in the game. Let's come into the first shot turn, a little bit deep actually. The Alpha 33 it's a weird one, because it's really quick. I mean, this is only the stock version, so admittedly it's a little bit slower than I'd normally expect. But it has some really weird handling. It just, I don't know, there's something about the classic cars in this game. They just have something very strange about the way they steer. But any noob will overcome these problems, of course, but not that one, because he's into the wall. And unfortunately I had very little time to react, and I'm into the back of him, dropping down to 10th place. I was going quite well until that moment when, you know, just the noob in the noob car around the noob circuit hit the wall, and me, the other noob, couldn't avoid him. Anyway, around at the outside of this guy, braking for that turn. I think that turn you can pretty much take it flat out if you're good. I guess he's not good. So into this one, plenty of tyre smoke being laid up. The smoke screens that get deployed, I mean, they're absolutely ridiculous sometimes. You just cannot see anything. Just like zero visibility. Just grinding off that guy on the way past. Vicious overtake. Up the inside, over the curb. Looking up the inside into the right-hander. Not quite going to come off. Going to give him the space, and he gives me the space. So nice racing there. We're in 5th place. So it's going fairly well so far. It's only a 2-lap up. This is the longer version of Rio. Coming into the fast left, he's taken a very narrow line. I'm around the outside. Absolutely cheeky move there. Well, I mean, to be honest, I just made the most of his bad driving just by simply going around the outside. Nothing too amazing there, really. 4th place then, trying to catch up with 3rd place just around the corner here. 1st place is long gone. I guess he's the chief noob of Forza Motorsport 6. I'd like to know, in Forza Motorsport 7, do you reckon that this car will be as OP as it is in this one? I mean, it's been a trend in the last couple of games actually, even in Horizon. In fact, maybe even more so in Horizon. It's very, very quick, this car, in Horizon as well. Just something about it in the Forza algorithms. We seem to make it very, very powerful indeed. But we are catching up with 3rd. I could be the 3rd best noob in Forza. Let's see if it happens. Into the apex nicely. The car just wobbling all over the place. A great exit. Possibly with the benefit of manual clutch as well. I'm not sure if that guy was using it, but if he wasn't, then that's one of the reasons I would have blown by him there. He had no chance at all at resisting the Super GT effect. Into the tunnel. Back out again into a tricky right-hander. There's plenty of bumps around this track. Hooking up nicely with the apex. No noobs in the way this time to collide into the back of. And then just throwing it into that corner viciously. Well, it's nicely done actually. 2nd place is on here. 1st place I think might be a little bit too far ahead, although I have caught up slightly with him. At this corner, just a bit of a dab of the brakes and a bit of a lift, so maybe you can't do it flat. Maybe you can, if you're good, and I guess I'm not good. So around the long right, Christ the Redeemer looks down upon us as we come flying down the hill with that scripted helicopter journey as he comes flying past us. I like to take the curb there. I'm not really sure why that curb is there, to be honest. It kind of puts people off turning in early, but I like to go over it, and it's supposedly clean anyway. Coming down the hill, we have got maybe a 1/3 of the lap left. Can we catch up with 2nd place? 1st place is looking a stretch at the moment. This is the tricky corner. Usually catches me out very wide, just grazing the wall, pushing the track limits to the limit, coming through the chicane massively quicker than the guy ahead. This is on. Second place is on here. First place just around the corner, just up ahead, but barring Noob back marker wiping him out, I don't think I'm going to overtake him through the final turn, or what I consider the final turn. I guess this is the final turn now, the long right. That's going to be it, because we are driving the same car. It's unlikely I'm going to be able to get past him then, unless he just drops off the throttle, which he's not going to do. And I'm going to finish third. I'm the third best noob in Forza. It's official. There we go. We're going to move straight to this. I mean, this one seems to come up so much, and it's featured so many times on the channel, but I think I'd rather just like put a screwdriver up my nose and do this again, because this is just like hell. I'd imagine if you died and went to hell, this is basically what it is. Just a load of McLaren P1s at Sebring, and the devil is tormenting me here as we go into the second turn. And I've nudged the guy. Oh yeah, it's actually more like a bowling alley. This isn't racing. This isn't motorsport. This is 10-pin bowl or 21-pin bowling. Now through the little complex there, down the long straight towards the hairpin. I'm up to 11th place. I was a bit lower than that at the start. Going to the outside line. Now this is how you overtake so many cars in one corner, right? Going in 10th place, coming through, everyone just messes themselves up, and I end up in 4th. Now that's just automotive mastery. That's how you do it, guys. 10th to 4th in one corner. Pure skill, and obviously planned on my part. And then I've just forced this guy into an error. Silent stain with the Super GT effect there taking hold of him, and he goes wide. I'm up to 3rd. At the end of the race, I finished 4th. I made a few more mistakes. It was a boring race, as it usually is around there. Let's move on to Prague in the Lancer Evo, and Lancer Evo 10 I believe this one is. So starting on the second row of the grid, and I think the slower cars are better for the cycle production. They just tend to make for better races, as you can race a lot closer. And coming through the second turn, it's going to get very messy. We're going to enter the love tunnel, the famous love tunnel, where many interesting things happen, and it's just got extremely messy. It's just got extremely messy in the love tunnel, and somehow I'll come out the other side in second place. It really just kicked off in there, and somehow the Lord of Light at the end of the tunnel favoured me in this occasion, and I've come out cleanly. But we have to chase down first place, who's actually got away by 700-800 feet into the fast complex. Now, just judging by the map, he's actually killed himself already, so he's just going to come around here. And there he goes, he's quit. I mean, he could have just carried on going there, probably would have come back out, maybe 3rd or 4th, but the shame. Let's go for a quick lap, shall we? Because I won this by so far. As you can see on the map, I'm like nearly 2,000 feet ahead, or 1,200 feet ahead. Let's see what a quick-ish lap looks like. Go flying in the first apex. That first apex is really just a breaking point, and then hooking up nicely with the second, looking out for the wall on the right hand side, getting to the right hand side through the love tunnel, dip out to the right hand side where the track extends slightly, turning in just at the start of that white barrier, hooking up the first apex, go out wide, use the camber to help you round to the second apex, on the throttle early to get the car round. Because it's a slower car, you have to get on the throttle a little bit earlier. Plenty of grip in this car, really stable handling, and that gives me so much confidence going through the chicane. Turning in just on the shadow before the archway, and just holding the throttle nicely there, down one gear for the chicane, just to make sure we don't go flying into the wall. The car just so planted and so easy to control through there. Trail braking into the final turn, down to 3rd gear, back on the throttle early, and back out again. We are throttling towards the final, the finish line, and that's going to be a good lap, and we're going to win the race quite comfortably with a 107.6. Now let's make things more interesting, shall we? We're starting on pole position with the fastest lap from the previous race, so we're going to go to the back. 24th. Let's see what we can do from 24th on the grid. Going to the first turn, it's an absolute mess, as per. And well, yeah, admittedly I did hit that guy, and he's just going to kind of turn across and return the favour. Coming through the second turn, it's just become I don't even know what to describe that as. Coming back onto the track, this guy's going to slide sideways into me. I'm up into the top 10 already. I've gained 14 places in one corner. Through the next turn, it's going to get extremely messy. Someone spun around, and I'm up into 7th. Let's just reflect on that for a second. I went from 24th to 7th in about 3 corners. Yeah. So for those of you who don't really play Forza, not familiar with it, that's the kind of standards you can expect to find in this game, where you can just quite easily stroll from the back to the front because of how bad everyone is. But there you go. Most of you probably knew that already. I mean, that's probably why you're watching my videos, to be honest. The fact that you know that there's plenty of banter hiding around every corner. Up the inside into the hairpin at the bottom of the circuit. Now this guy ahead, I was expecting him to accelerate, you know, out of the corner as you do. He just kept turning. He just kept turning, coming out of the turn. Like, it's straight now. You can carry on going straight, and then just to rub it in, like, he just drives himself straight off the track. Quite clearly doesn't know what he's doing there. Now this is the problem I have really sometimes. I mean, people are allowed to drive slowly. They're allowed to be a bit bad at the game. You know, that's fine. It's just sometimes it's hard driving with really good drivers, and then the next moment you're driving with bad drivers, and then trying to judge both at the same time is quite tricky. So obviously with good drivers you can push them to the limit a lot more, drive them a lot closer around the outside into the chicane, and that's a nice job, well done there. Nice 2 positions up into 6th place. So really it's yeah, fairly tricky to determine exactly how close you can push to some people, because if you push as close as you would with an expert driver, you know, an expert driver will be able to drive around you with their precision, but you know, a noob won't be able to. So sometimes it can be hard to judge that, and I got it wrong on that occasion, I will admit. Into the first turn, 6th place then, and we're just going to try to make up as many places as possible, of course. That's always the name of the game when we're starting in dead last or doing the back to front challenge. I still don't have that achievement. There's an achievement in this game for starting dead last and finishing first. Now obviously I didn't actually start 24th, I started first, but it's very hard actually to get even a full game for starters, and then to actually be the one who finishes, or sorry, starts last, and then to finish first. I have gone from 24th to 2nd, that's my best, and I've gone from 22nd to 1st and 23rd to 1st, but never from 24th to 1st. So that one's going to elude me, I think. Although on Forza 7 I would like to perhaps do a series where I try to get every achievement, and that includes all the single player ones as well. That would be quite interesting to do. Perhaps even as live streams for the career mode. I think career mode perhaps is better on live streams, but we shall see. Now coming through Schumacher S, a little bit hot on the entry, and you can see compromise my exit. We're caught up with 3rd place though, coming into the next chicane, and I'm fairly familiar with this circuit and this car, so I've driven it a fair amount for the Le Mans series, and this guy, he's all over the place. He's just not accelerating out of these turns at all. And then coming into the kink, which is flat out, right, I'm going to tuck in behind, and he's going to brake. Like, what the hell? Like, it's hard enough to judge people when they're driving fairly okay, and now I'm in and amongst it. Look at this. There's just 5 of us, and to be fair, yes, I've punted that guy, but I'm just going to carry on because this is just an absolute mess. It's going to give it as much as I'm getting here. So this guy is just braking for a flat out kink, and it's just impossible to judge sometimes what people are going to do. I mean, we're going up a straight, he might even just brake now, just for the banter. I don't know if he's trolling me, or if he's just genuinely bad. Probably the second option, but you never know. I've actually had quite a lot of trolls recently. People just smashing me off deliberately and saying, "Oh, I just wanted to be in the video." Well, anyone who does that does not get in the video, basically. And we've dispatched him eventually, thankfully, and hopefully we can get away from him. Almost going to the back of this guy, just giving him enough room though to get round turn number 3 into turn 4, get a better exit. Then he's going to cover the inside line. Moving across again, I have to brake momentarily there. He's going to be on a narrow line. I'm going to go around the outside, and it's going to give me the inside line for the next turn. I'm just going to hook it as close as I can to the curb, keep it there, and I'm up into 3rd place. Now it's just a matter of trying to get away from this guy to make sure that he does not obliterate my rear end, if that doesn't sound too rude. Now coming through the bottom chicane, or bottom hairpin, looking for that late apex, and then accelerating to the outside, as you should. There we go. I mean, that guy on the first lap just basically kept turning. When you're on the exit of the turn, you've got your power out to the outside, not the power out to the inside. So that's what really caught me out on that first lap. Just dipping 2 wheels over the white line there. Still clean, and you can just get a better run through that first apex. Then into this next turn. This one is a fairly crucial corner because you're going onto a long straight, which has a kink which is actually flat out. You don't have to brake through this one. There we go, see? Easily enough. We're looking for that first braking board, and then halfway between the first and second, that's where you're roughly braking. Probably brake a little bit later actually than halfway. As we come up to the final turn, actually this is a really long video. It's going to be, what, over 18 minutes. That's good going. I suppose if you've made it this far, then well done to you. Well done indeed. We're going to go for one more lap. Let's see what we can do. Normally at this point of the race, I mean, first and second are absolutely miles away. That just shows you how bad the carnage has been. So the main really objective here is just to set a fast lap, and really just for bragging rights. Really, when everyone looks at that scorecard at the end, you can just say, yeah, I'm the fastest here, guys. I'm faster than all of you. And also what that does, it gives you pole position for the next race, as long as it's clean. So just always try to set a clean lap. Even if it's a slow clean lap, you will beat most people on the grid for the next race. So for those of you who don't know, the grid for the next race is decided by the fastest lap of the previous race. So if you get a clean lap, most people get a dirty lap, and clean laps are ranked ahead of dirty laps, so you'll beat most people. Even if you take 10 years to do a clean lap, you'll beat everyone with a dirty one. So just take 10 years to do a clean one. A little bit wide, but then we can cut in for a late apex, power out to the outside, and a straight line. I haven't got traction control on, so do have to be careful on the throttle. Dipping onto that curb on the entry to the Schumacher rest gives you a better run through there. And when you don't have traction control on, it can be a good idea to take that later apex, go in deep, take a late apex. By doing that, you're taking a straighter exit. You're accelerating in a straighter line. So you're still going to be turning on the exit of the turn, but it's a slightly straighter curve if you go in deep then cut back, which is why you see that a lot on corners leading onto a long straight. Into the final chicane. This is where it can be fairly tricky to keep it clean. As long as you keep your wheels on the red and white stuff and not the green artificial grass, then you should be okay. Into the final turn, dipping 2 wheels on the curb, throw it in nicely, apexing just after the start of the pit exit or pit entry barrier, and we round out the final turn. We're going to come across the line in 3rd place, about as good as I could have got there. First and second were long gone, and setting the fastest clean lap in the race, just dipping below the 2-minute mark. And there we go, guys, a very long video indeed, but I do hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and congratulations on making it to the end. And there we go. Well, some newbie antics. I'm the 3rd best noob in the world, and I made it from 24th to 3rd, so all good stuff. So there we go, guys. Thank you for watching. As always, do hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new and would like to see plenty more. I shall see you next time. Goodbye.